just a good old boy.
Alright, y'all, just to explain to y'all what you're about to see in this video. We have bought another Dodge 1 ton V10. It's got a dually bed on it. We're taking the dually bed off. We've got a flatbed that we bought out of that we're fixing. It comes from a scrapyard place. Really good bed. We're just making a few changes to it to fit what we're wanting to do. And I've got to paint it. That bed is not here right now. It's at a steel shop. And when they get done with it, I'm gonna paint it like I did my grain drill. Well, right now, we're about to pull the bed off of this truck. We've got the bed undone. Y'all sit right there. We got the bed undone, and heck is it like that? We got the bed undone, and we've got to somebody's tied this thing. And for some reason I don't want to. And we're gonna set it off with the backhoe. Hold on. We're gonna set it off with the backhoe and get it out of the way. So we can put the other bed on when I get it ready. It's a 96 or 5 maybe Dodge 3500's 2-tone 4-wheel drive. This is gonna be the truck we're gonna feed the cows with from now on, because we can haul 4 bales or more on this bed that we're rigging up. It's just a flat bed, nothing special. It'll be just like our other trucks. Kind of wanted a dump bed, but it's just too expensive. It's really gonna help us on gas bill and everything else, not having to run around so much. So here's the truck. We got the bed off of it. It's got these big old BF Goodwrench tires on it. We're probably going to be changing them out after we finish wearing them out. But the bed's going to mount on here. Yeah, 3500 V10. Here's the inside of the cab. It's 5-speed. And then it doesn't have suicide doors, which I thought was different. And then here's the back seat. It does have full back seat, and it flips up. I hadn't flipped it up. I can't get to it right now. I hadn't flipped it up yet, but it does flip up. Regular center console like all other trucks have. Same thing. It's basically a lot like the other trucks we have, except it has a different dash. Pretty similar. Oh, it's a 95. My bad. It's built in June of 95, which probably means it's more than likely a 96 model. It's a camper special, heavy duty rear end and everything in it. So it should work good for what we're wanting to do. All we want to do with it is just haul 4 rolls of hay, but we are going to put a ball in it in case we want to use it for pulling trailers or something. But this is going to be another beater truck. It won't be like that one or that white truck that we have. This is going to be more of a day-to-day truck that we're going to use. That truck there is still so nice, it's hard to use it. We used it some last year, but none of us really wanted to use it because it is still so nice. I mean, that thing's like new still, other than it's got a lot of miles on it. The white truck, it's not much different. That truck there's actually been repainted a few years ago. We had it repainted, so I mean, it's literally like new. But this in here, it's got a little more wear on it, so that's what we got going on with this. I'm excited because we're gonna finally get a truck that we could actually haul some dang hail. I mean, this dang crap hauling 2 bales at a time. I'm so sick of it. This is something we've been wanting for a while, me and Dad, so that way we could cut back on our fuel costs and wouldn't have to make so dang many trips, and I can get more done in a day. I can have more time to do other things the quicker I can get done feeding. And the way we're set up with all the pastures we've got leased everything, where man, it's going to really help us. So this thing has got a hunk of a bumper on the front of it too, so we might be able to bust some old cows in the rear end and make a move if we wanted to with that thing. Alright, we got the truck in here, down the shop. I've been doing some work to it. We got the seat fixed. We had it reupholstered. Dad ran. He's over there in the front corner because he's going to be on camera. There he is. I reckon I'm going to have to just start making him be on this thing. Alright, so we had it put back in fake leather, or pleather, whatever they call it. Because this is a driver's seat and we're going to be getting in and out of it a lot. It'll hold up better in cloth as far as stains and stuff. I wish the other one was done the same, but it's not. So let's get this thing in there. Here we go. Ugh. Some light in here. There we go. These bolts out. We've done quite a bit this thing since we got it. We still ain't got the bed on. We have done quite a bit. I get it. But the bed is in the process. It's ready to be set on to be fitted, and then it's got to be painted, and I got to put lights on it. I don't know if I'm gonna be painting it or if the guy that's been doing the weld work on it is gonna be painting it. Still a kind of unknown. Nobody's told me anything for sure. I was gonna paint it, but I don't know. Kind of who has the most time. half fits.
All I gave you was that small 38.
Wouldn't be using. No, I know what I used. I used this half-inch ratchet in here. That's the only thing I had in here. With 13mm socket. I left both in here and you got them out yesterday and handed them to me, and I told you to leave the stuff in here.
That little short snug thing.
Unless it's underneath that seat. Nope. Oh, you talking about the air ratchet? Yep, and then I gotta let the air build. Maybe we'll get them tight today. Here it is. Told you. Found it.
On your side.
Well, I told you to leave this stuff in here.
If you couldn't find it, I've been better off I'd put it up.
It's probably laying there because you moved it.
I ain't moved it. It's on your side.
I bet you did move it. You probably hid it there underneath that seatbelt just so I couldn't see it.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Nope.
This other one is what I used them wrenches for. It's over there. Don't put them up either. I know you done moved them.
And right here in the same spot that was in.
They was behind the seat. You grabbed them.
Oh, then floorboard. Front.
I'm always walking off my tools.
It's cloudy and coming a storm. It may blow us away. Lightning lob strikes.
Now we get to have fun. Thing recording now. It's recording. Hopefully it's getting audio. Oh, there we go.
You see?
Yeah, I can see.
I wished you'd told me we'd got you some light bulbs yesterday.
Might look for some LED ones like to go in
Yeah, that's what you really need.
on Amazon, like them lights we put out there in the barn.
Well, the LEDs, it'll last forever.
So the way these things are designed in these older Dodges, I don't believe the newer ones are this way like the other ones we have. These 90s models, you had to pull the center consoles out first because both of the seats bolt directly to it to get them out. But I think on the later trucks, only one of the seats was bolted to it, and it was a frame, had a frame to itself. I might be wrong.
How about that door?
Yeah. I can't find a dang hole. Yep, there it is. Get it in there. Boy, right here's something I should have done a long time ago. I am tired of advertising for this group that does nothing whatsoever for producers. Garbage. I need me an RCAF tag, but I hadn't got one yet, so we're going to be putting this one up. For now, because I'm done advertising for people who don't fight for us when we send them money. There you go. Got that garbage removed. Yeah, so we actually won for once. and somebody who we actually pay money into actually got something done for producers for once. Got some good news in ag finally in the cattle industry. This past week, the market's been up a little bit due to it, a little tick up, just because the excitement in the air. Not a huge change, which, I mean, it hadn't took effect yet, so it would have made sense for it to be a huge change. A lot of y'all know I've been a big advocate against cattle ID. RCAF the other day sued the Secretary of Agriculture, and I forget who the other guy was. It was something to do with animals and everything else that's over the office in the government, and they won on the behalf of cattle producers that they went basically they were enforcing cattle ID illegally and didn't go through the proper procedures of talking to producers if that was something that they wanted. Instead, they tried to force it through on their own, and everybody just went along with it, kind of like cool. And it was going to be mandated in 2023. A lot of people know this and been talking about it. Well, since RCAF sued them, it took about 2 weeks, I think, whole total. Where's the National Cattlemen's Association been for the past year and a half, 2 years, however long it's been since they announced this crap? And it took probably about 2 to 3 weeks after the lawsuit. One directly the next day after the lawsuit, when the president seen what was going on, President Trump, he issued a executive order to stop it immediately. 2 executive orders to put a stop to it immediately. And then after that, they won the lawsuit and it was done away with completely. So now there is no more mandate for cattle ID. This is a huge win for cattle producers all across America. You know, I don't make anything off of saying what I do about RCAF, but it's nice when we pay in our dues for membership that we actually see some results and actually get some actions, at least trying to do something in the right ways and for the right reasons for us that are helping us. I think everybody can agree that not having cattle ID is a huge weight lifted off of in the future for cattle producers. Now we have to keep a close eye on this because they may try to actually get it put back in eventually. So we don't need to turn a blind eye to it, and we need to make sure we keep up with this. And if they start coming around talking about doing it or something, we need to make sure we say no. RCAF is the largest cattle producer representative in the United States. Solely cattle producers only representatives. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association is not solely a cattle producers representation anymore. They have representations from foreign nations, packers, and everything else included into that. That's why a lot of their things, they do not go along with what just cattle producers want, and they look at everything else, which they were started and intended to be representation for us. We have to hold these groups accountable, and we have to stay after them. So I'm proud to say today that we've hopefully with my videos and trying to get more people to sign on, everybody that has signed up for RCAF, we finally won for once. We finally won something. It had not been implemented yet, but this is going to be huge if it had been for the cattle industry here in the United States. And thank God it's not going through. I mean, it's just the cost that it would have cost us, and through the whole process of that, a lot of people would have quit and not even been in the industry anymore. It's a huge win for us. Hopefully we can get something done to distinguish our beef from everyone else now next, and then we'll have a little bit of a way to market our products separate from everybody else. And I hope that everybody has a way, no matter where you're at in the world, to distinguish your beefies from your country, and that way you have a way to market your product as well. I think that's the fair way to do it. This crap of not putting labels on stuff that's not true, and using those labels to manipulate customers buying products, and it hurts everyone. It hurts people from not here, it hurts people from here. It's just not good, and they're doing it everywhere. Everywhere needs to adopt the rights to be able to have your country's name on your product, and I think that's something that we all need to push for next, and work hard to get, because then it's all about how good's your product at that point, and then we can actually have a way to have some fluctuations in the stale cattle industry that we have today that's a world market all across the world. So it'd be nice to be able to have that no matter where you're from, so that way we can all have a way to at least market our beef and other stuff. Pork's the same way here in the US. So it'd be really nice to have that too. So hopefully we'll get that done. Now back to the normal production today. All right, y'all, we got her done as far as all I can do for now. So what we've had to do, let me fill y'all in a little bit on everything. Well, this truck, I bought it, was running a little rough. Of course, it'd been sitting for 2 years. So what I did is I did a full tune-up on this truck. I put all new plugs, wires, everything on it. Then I pulled the throttle body off. I cleaned the throttle body out, cleaned the IAC control, which is their idle air control, little solenoid in there. I cleaned it off, cleaned the throttle body out good, sprayed out all the ports and everything in it, got everything clean and running, and put it all back together. Runs good now. Got that done. The AC was not working on this truck. What I found was that the AC compressor right here, the plug, the little snap that held it on there, had been somehow or another messed up, and I think what it was doing is it allowed it to come undone, or somebody unplugged it because it was leaking Freon in the summertime, and then the compressor was running continuous, and or the sensor's bad, and they didn't want to do that. But I hooked it up, recharged it, and everything's cooling and working great. Heat works good as far as I know, everything there. Got all that straightened out. In the spring, if there's no Freon left in it and it's all gone, I'll take it and have some dye run through it and try to find a leak, or maybe if there's a sensor bad, fix it then. But we're fixing to be in winter, so I'm not really worried about it. The main thing is the compressor and everything works, and it does cool really good. And when I say really good, it means really good. It cooled good. Checked all the fluids, did a full service on the truck as far as fluids and everything go. Went over everything. The only thing I have not done is check the manual transmission. I've got to drive it down the road and get it hot before I can check that. So we'll probably do that after we get the bed on. Another thing that let's see, what else was there that we had going on? Oh, the windshield wipers were not working. I pulled off the shroud, and I looked under, I checked the motor, and the motor was bad. Put a new windshield wiper motor in there. It's working now. It is a little bit slow turning, slower than it should be. I think what that is just where it's been setting for 2 years. Maybe there's a little rust or something built up in there. Gonna get out in the rain here in a minute probably, and take it to have the bed fitted, and we'll get try those out and see if they work them as we go down the road, and see if with the water on the windshield if they'll go to free up and work a little better. If not, I may have to oil it up or something and get that loosened up. But it is working. When we got into the truck, we found out that when we got into here, we found out that the window on this side was not working. I pulled the full door panel off of this side, checked the window regulator. It turned out it was just a bad connection in the plug. Put some dielectric grease on it, put it back together. Works perfect now. It has not stopped working. Let's see, this seat, as y'all may remember earlier in the video, I showed it had a big hole in it when we took the bed off, and it was cloth. We took it to a upholstery shop, had it reupholstered, put new foam in it, and a new pleather seat cover, because this is the main seat. They did a very good job matching the seats up and the lines and everything to one another, even though this is pleather. In the cab, everything else seemed to work. Didn't really find anything else wrong mechanically that I can remember. I did tinker with a few things, and they went back to working after I cleaned the connectors and stuff. Mostly it's just been sitting for a really long time. These tires have spacers in them, and they're a little wider. These are BF Goodwrenches. After we wear these out, we're going to be taking those spacers out and airing the truck back in, just because of the fact that it does not ride very good with these on there, or steer very well. Now on the front, something I'm going to be doing is right here on this bumper. We've always wanted a bumper like this on a truck, that we used to put hay out with. That's what this truck is going to be. Again, is a hay truck for us to feed the cows, make hay deliveries and whatnot. We're going to mount a LED light bar that's 30-something inch, like the one I've got on the back of the dump truck. I'm going to put it on the front for checking cows at night or working on fences and stuff. Now on the back, I'm going to get some of those little pods like I've got on my yellow truck, and I put on the skid steers, and on the new bed, I'm going to mount it up here and have them shining down the bed for at night, making late deliveries this time of year. It's dark here in about another month. It'll be dark for 2 or 3 months at 5 o'clock. And a lot of the deliveries we make are around then, because when people get off of work during the middle of the week, so it's nice to have some extra lights for that. Another thing we're going to be doing is, once we get the bed on, it's a really heavy bed, I'm going to have toolboxes, put at least one on one side, maybe putting 2 on each side. My grandpa kind of wants to do 2 on each side, or 1 on each side, just to make it look even. Personally, I don't care. I just assume just to have 1 to put net balls in whenever we take the net off the hay. That way we don't have to stick in the cab and it makes a mess and everything else. And then in the summertime, when we're using this truck, we're also going to be putting a gooseneck ball on this truck. Right here, we're going to mount a gooseneck plate to this frame. We have the plate already from an old truck we used to have. We're going to be putting it here with a flip top in the bed. We're not going to have a tunnel, because we're mostly going to be hauling hay on this thing and not pulling trailers. So if we put a tunnel in it, then it's the trough. Just when you're stacking squares, it really messes it up, but it is a little bit annoying, especially when you're standing up there throwing them off. So that's another thing that it's not going to have. It's going to be a fully flat bed across the way. Headache rack and everything on that bed is extremely heavy. It was a landscaping bed originally. It is a used bed that had the overhang that went over the top of the cab to put like straw and stuff on it. We cut all that off, and we've put a regular square headache rack on the bed, and the actual top of the bed is like one of the beds on maybe that 70 series dump truck that's got the extra heavy thick steel on it decking. It'd be great for hauling hay. And then at the back, I'm not sure, I might get 2 extra LED lights and put them at the bottom as well on the back, or maybe put 1 instead of doing that, maybe put them in the toolboxes. So that way, if we want at night, we can flip on the lights in the toolboxes, and we'll be able to see what's in the toolboxes without a flashlight and stuff. So that would be really nice too. And if we do 2 toolboxes, we'll be able to throw our fencing stuff or whatever in one of the toolboxes and have somewhere to put that. This is not a suicide cab. This is before they went to doing suicides. It's fully fixed mounted. You can't open it, but it does have the back bench, which I kind of like, because then you do have the option at least to sit back there, or you can fold it up and you got all that extra room. And I've noticed on the versus our red truck, which is a lot like this truck, they have the same transmission, same engine, different rear ends though, and everything else is pretty well the same. The brakes are different. This one has vacuum brakes, whereas the other 2 have hydro assist brakes, which is where it runs off the power steering pump for hydraulic brakes, which is typical with bigger trucks now, more modern trucks. That's what they went to. But this one's still the old vacuum style brakes on a booster, vacuum booster. So that's what this thing is. That's what we've got going on with it. She is about ready to go. The paint's a little bit rough on top from where it's set out for 2 years in the hood. Probably take a buffer to the top of the hood and get it straightened out, but the top of the cab, eventually we're probably going to have the truck sprayed, just because of the fact that the paint's starting to come off the top. But it's a good truck. These were good trucks, really good trucks, these body style was. And the V10 engine, they do like gas if you're pulling a trailer. They get okay for 1 ton without a trailer, which is typically what we're going to be doing. But I'm not saying it won't give trouble, but the other one that's in the other truck, it's the same motor, has been extremely reliable all the way up till now. Haven't really had any issues with that, but you never know, it could break down tomorrow and be a nightmare, so who knows. But to this point, it's been good, and this one here, I don't think it's got quite the mileage on it that the other one does. One thing I wish it had is the fold-out mirrors on the side just for pulling trailers, but these are okay. It's the same thing that our white truck has, except it's are black and they're plastic molded. Of course, this is a 2002. This is a 90. I think it was built in 95, but I think it's actually, see, it was built in June of 95, which probably tells me this truck is actually a 96 model. It would, if it's a 95, it would have been right when they cut it off. And it would have been a late 95. So it's probably a 96 model, and not a 95. It's got electric mirrors and everything. Pretty nice truck. It's a Laramie, SLT Laramie, just like our white truck. But our white truck was more modern and newer, so it was a little bit nicer than this one is, obviously. But I mean, this is the oldest one we have now. The other one, the red one, other red truck we have, we bought new, 2000. The white truck we bought used, it is a 2002 with a 24 valve Cummins, and this truck here is a 95 or 96, and it has the V10 like the red truck does. So that's it. Hopefully that's a mouthful. Hopefully this is all gonna work out, and it'll be a good truck for us. Y'all know I've been wanting a flatbed or something to haul with, and again, our other truck is really nice. This one here is not in bad shape at all. It had the dually bed on it, and it looked really good, which y'all seen us set it off. And I mean, it's gonna be a heck of a truck to feed cows with, but it's what we need. It'll cut back on trips in half versus the pickups. Just being able to haul on this thing and save us a ton of fuel just by doing that. So thank y'all for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.